few years ago, I visited a memory care center. It was a residential home not far from our synagogue, but it was a unique experience for me, and that was because of the design, an element in the home that made it extraordinary. As I walked through the halls going to visit a couple of patients, members of our community, I saw that outside each door, not only was there a door number, but much more important than that, there was a case, a memorabilia case essentially, a display case on the wall to the left of every door. What that contained were images that told a story and artifacts that told a story. So it meant that I realized when I was entering that door, the woman that I was going to encounter who could no longer tell me her story, who could no longer even communicate, lying elderly, withered on a bed, had a whole life story behind her. It meant that caregivers, when they approached that door to give her food, water, care, knew that they weren't merely ever encountering a patient. It was a human being with a life story. I remember one woman, I went to her door and I looked and first saw a picture of her dancing ballet with Nureyev in Paris. And there were newspaper reviews in the New York Times and a French paper as well. I saw pictures of her family. I went next door because I was so curious about these boxes and the stories they told. And there was a model of an aircraft on a stand. And it was a man who was now well up in his years, but was an airline pilot. And I saw pictures of him growing up and playing football. I saw pictures of him with his family. In addition to images, I saw stories. I read stories about these people. And what I realized was they made an extraordinarily important decision, not ever to let a person become just a name. God forbid, just a room number and a bed number. They did something humanizing to every person who was there. They allowed every one of us who encountered them to realize we were seeing the fullness of a human being. When I first saw Yahrzeit Interactive, I realized that they were doing the same for our memories. They were allowing every one of us who has mourned and loved our loved ones, not only to look at a name, a typical plaque with dates, printed letters, but to realize a story, many, many stories within a story. That between those dates, between the birth date and the date of death, is a lifetime filled in relationships and in doing, in creativity, in all manner of living. What impressed me with this product was it allowed every one of us, literally at the touch of a finger, to engage in a person's story, to connect with the parts that we recognize, or perhaps that fascinate us about their life.